Well, we talked about Genesis 6 last time, and before moving on, do you think that maybe a heavenly discussion was going on during this time?
Yeah, right. The heavenly discussion. Let's see. In verse 5,
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them.
what you have here, perhaps, I think you do. What you have here is sort of a summary and an expression of a heavenly discussion.
Wait, how do you know that?
And it's not stated as such in the text here. But the Jews, when they would read the Old Testament, they knew that this sort of thing was going on. And what it is that God counsels with the sons of God before he takes actions on the earth. And some rabbis say this always takes place. God's always involving his angels in the things that he does. And of course, when it comes to the revelation of the mystery, then we have something that was not revealed to the angels. I should say all this again. Can you hear all that noise outside my window? Good grief. I've got these next door.
I can't hear it actually, to tell you the truth.
Okay, good. I hope I can use that because I said it pretty good. But I was going to say, though, that the fact that the revelation of the mystery wasn't known to the angels is a special thing about that revelation. So it means that the angels are involved heavily in everything. And the Jews just kind of knew this. And let me give a parallel example to you to show you what I mean. Okay. In the book of Jubilees, on page 120, it says the following about Abraham. Listen to this. And it came to pass in the 7th week, in the 1st year thereof, in the 1st month in this Jubilee, on the 12th of this month, there were voices in heaven regarding Abraham, that he was faithful in all that he told him, and that he loved the Lord, and that in every affliction he was faithful. And the prince Mestema came and said before God, behold, Abraham loves Isaac his son, and he delights in him above all things. Bid him offer him as a burnt offering on the altar, and thou wilt see if he will do this command, and thou wilt know if he is faithful in everything wherein thou dost try him. And the Lord knew that Abraham was faithful in all his afflictions, for he had tried him through his country and with famine, and had tried him with the wealth of kings, and had tried him again through his wife when she was torn from him, and with circumcision, and had tried him through Ishmael and Hagar, his maidservant, when he sent them away. And in everything wherein he had tried him, he was found faithful, and his soul was not impatient, and he was not slow to act, for he was faithful and a lover of the Lord. And God said to him, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here am I. And he said, Take thy beloved son, whom thou lovest, even Isaac, and go unto the high country, and offer him on one of the mountains which I will point out unto thee. And he rose early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took his 2 young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood of the burnt offering. And he went to the place on the 3rd day, and he saw the place afar off. And he came to a well of water, and he said to his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad shall go yonder. And when we have worshipped, we shall come again to you. And he took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac his son. And he took in his hand the fire and the knife. And they went both of them together to that place. And Isaac said to his father, Father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said unto him, Behold the fire and the knife and the wood, but where is the sheep for the burnt offering, Father? And he said, God will provide for himself a sheep for a burnt offering, my son. And he drew near to the place of the mount of God. And he built an altar, and he placed the wood on the altar, and bound Isaac his son, and placed him on the wood which was upon the altar, and stretched forth his hand to take the knife to slay Isaac his son. And I stood before him and before the prince of the Mastema, and the Lord said, Bid him not to lay his hand on the lad, nor to do anything to him, for I have shown that he fears the Lord. And I called to him from heaven and said unto him, Abraham, Abraham. And he was terrified and said, Behold, here am I. And I said unto him, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything to him. For now I have shown that thou fearest the Lord, and hast not withheld thy son, thy firstborn son, from me. And the prince of the Mastema was put to shame. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a single ram caught by his horns. And it goes on from there. This reference to Mastema, this is also a reference to the Satan. It's a way of referring to the Satan. And the Jews, when they read the story about Abraham being tempted by God, they saw in that voices in heaven had a conversation before God decided. Got a motorcycle out there. Voices in heaven had a conversation about this before God decided to test Abraham. That's how the ancient Jews saw that, and a lot of other instances in the Bible, a lot of other episodes in the Bible. Let me show you something else. Okay. In the Talmud, in the Babylonian Talmud, Tractate Sanhedrin, folio 89b. Listen to this. And it came to pass after these words that God did tempt Abraham. What is meant by after? Rabbi Johanan said, on the authority of Rabbi Jose B. Zimra, after the words of Satan, as it is written, and the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. Thereupon Satan said to the Almighty, Sovereign of the universe, to this old man thou didst graciously vouchsafe the fruit of the womb at the age of 100. Yet of all that banquet which he prepared, he did not have one turtle dove or pigeon to sacrifice before thee. Hath he done aught but in honor of his son? Replied he, Yet were I to say to him, Sacrifice thy son before me, he would do so without hesitation. Straightway God did tempt Abraham, and he said, Take, I pray thee, thy son. So in the Talmud, the rabbis made the same observation. You see them using the term, the Satan. And the Satan is a concept that develops in scriptural history. The Satan was a member of the divine court. Driver points that out in his notes on the book of Job, where he talks about the Satan. I think I've mentioned that in a video, Lane, I'm not sure, but Driver's notes on Satan in the book of Job are real good. And the Satan took on a more sinister role. Let's see, how should I put this? The Satan takes on a more sinister role as the Messiah comes on the scene.
That's pretty
And
interesting. You do kind of see that trend too.
what you'll also notice, Lane, is that when the Satan tempted Christ and so forth, this isn't necessarily that extremely sinister role. But after Christ is raised, then all hell breaks loose.
Well, I know it's a lot of stuff we got to get into, but you at least got into the idea of this in Genesis 6. This first part, we have the beginning of this heavenly discussion, this beginning of this ultimate plan that's highlighted throughout the Bible.
Yeah, I think a heavenly discussion occurred before the flood. It's not stated directly, but I think the Jewish reader would have understood it that way. And that's how I see it. And if people see it that way, good. If not, that's okay. I'm just throwing it out there, though, for people to be aware of. That the Jewish eye sees things in these different places. So.